Good morning, Irina.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for joining us.
No problems. It's always nice to be helpful.
I'm sure there are a lot of people that will be interested in this discussion because it's so profoundly important, your sleep, isn't it? And if your child isn't sleeping, then you're probably not sleeping either. So, oh, I can't hear you. I can't hear you, Irina. There we go.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
I think the sleep is a fundamental function for everyone, especially for children. And of course, if child doesn't sleep, so whole the family is affected. So it's absolutely right. And very often, we learn that, we don't sleep not just because we want to annoy someone or make somebody's life terrible. It's just something doesn't let us to sleep well. And the kids, obviously, especially children with autism, they can't explain, they can't tell us why they don't sleep. So we really need to learn how to read the symptoms and the signs and what actually they mean. When I work with the parents, so very often they ask some kind of very particular questions and the particular symptoms and signs which help us to understand what can be cause of not very good sleep.
Okay, that sounds really interesting. So it's learning to decipher things from your child's sleep so that you can then take action and improve it.
Absolutely, because otherwise we will never be able to put specific help until we understand why and what is specifically the child is bothered from, so that he can't really fall asleep. Is it just the waking up, or is it talking and crying during the sleep? Or is it sweating during the night? Or is it just maybe not falling asleep initially, but then they sleep all right? Is it just a light sleep, or it's a short sleep, or maybe all this together, So each thing might tell us different reason why child is doing that, why he is not able just to sleep well through the night.
Okay. So to give a little bit of background briefly, in case you don't know Irina is a nutritional neuroscientist. She has a PhD from Cambridge University. She has over 20 plus years in science and health providing services. She founded an initiative, her company called Live Right, and this helps individuals to gain insight and strategies to deal with nutrition and well-being. So Irina really focuses on children with autism and other neurological conditions. She helps to detoxify, to nourish, and to reset a whole body biochemical balance. And that's through addressing the connection between the brain and the gut. And then this obviously can have huge impacts on sleep. So if I start with my first question, Irina, so why will my child not sleep on their own? Why are they constantly climbing into my bed?
It's a good question, because this is the very impactful to obviously family's life, the parents' life, the relationships, and that happens quite often. So very often children a little bit afraid to stay in their own environment, and again we need to understand what is about their internal world. Is not quite good. Maybe the child is very stressed, feel very anxious, and maybe the room environment is not really supporting that relaxing state. So it might be light, it might be some kind of noise or sound even coming from outside window, especially if you're in an apartment. So maybe it's some kind of sounds from the from neighborhood. It can be some electromagnetic vibrations, not really, because our children are very sensitive, remember. And if you don't feel it, it doesn't mean your child doesn't feel it. So they really feel much more. So they might feel all these kind of Wi-Fi going on things, and they've got headaches and uncomfortable sort of feeling in the body, in the brain. So the light can be provoking sort of a factor as well. So especially the blue light. So it's been a research and study showing that the blue light, even you sleep really well, and the scientists can measure how deep your sleep is. So if somebody comes with a little blue light and putting under the knee, because we've got photoreceptors over the body, so under the knee, small blue light, your sleep depths change straight away. So we're reacting. Sometimes we don't understand that our children will react much faster and much more sensitive to that. So you really need to see what kind of environment in the bedroom. I've got parents who just moved to the new house and the child stopped sleeping. And so when you looked at it, so the new carpets, a little bit of smell from painting still because it's a new house. It's lovely, it's new, and they were very, very happy, but the child wasn't. And he manifested every night. He's not very happy in new room because it's a full of new smells. The new furniture, which but very often actually treated with the toxic products, our children very sensitive to. So that's lots of all these little factors get together, and the children with autism already very stressed. So this is just additional kind of factors can impact their sort of a state of being awake, being afraid, being like not in a very good environment. So they just run to the parents because they feel more comfortable.
Right. Okay. So it's really understanding just how almost hypersensitive children are. We just get so used to our surroundings, and things like changing routine and all those things. As adults, we get so used to that, but we forget that for children it's a really big deal, isn't it? All of those things.
Oh, absolutely. And every child is different, and sometimes we come with a good intention. Like just the other day I was talking to mom and she said, yeah, I'm now training my sort of a husband to take care of the child because she's preparing for the trip. So he was putting the child in a bed, and from his good intention, he put the nice music, he put the light, he was singing alongside the music for a child, and child was going like, I can't sleep. So she mom came and said, no, put the light down, put the music down, let him hide under the blanket, because that's how he likes to do it. So understanding the child is very important, and sometimes we forget about it. So what is the sensitivity your child is experiencing? Does he really need that kind of even nice music, or he prefer really silent environment? Does he really like to be quiet and maybe soundproof? Some children really actually sleeping in a very soundproof conditions with the headphones, special headphones, even because even light noise really can bother them. And then you can come and take it away, but initially they really need that kind of cocoon environment for calm down their central nervous system so they can fall asleep.
So interesting. So essentially unlearning traditional methods of putting children to sleep and really tuning in to what your specific child needs with their...
Absolutely. Spot on. Spot on.
Okay, my next question. So when my child does fall asleep eventually, why not for a long time, even though I know they're exhausted?
This is also quite a typical situation, and the children may be very tired and they fell asleep, but then they wake up, something bothering them during the night. And again, we need to little bit understand what's going on during the sleep. So our body is trying to detoxify during sleep. And the brain actually is shrinking 60% in order to be able, special mechanism to cleanse the debris through the brain. So then when we wake up, it's sort of joining our detoxification system in the body. So body is really working very hard during the night. And all the kind of the toxins kind of moving, if you want. So if child didn't have a poop, for example, for 1 day or 2 days or 3 days, sometimes even, so it's not very comfortable situation. His toxicity is raising up. Our children, and we also living in a toxic soup, don't forget about it. So children got very high level of toxins circulating. Lots of children with autism got problem with detoxification system. It's just not functioning 100%. So during the night, all these toxins try to be evacuated from the brain and the body, but because it's too much of them, or maybe liver is not working in a full capacity, or maybe, you know, again, the digestive system is not coping with the detoxification process. So it's just kind of clogged up, and the toxins redistributing in the body, and that's kind of causing all these nightmares and waking up process. So the child just really not quiet, and he can't stay asleep for a long time because something bothering him inside. He needs to wake up. He might need to go to the loo. He might go to do the pee or something. But that's where the nightmares can come from, because lots of things going on in his little mind during the night as well. So the toxicity can cause and provoke lots of discomfort during the night for a child.
Wow, that's so interesting. Well, I mean, we'll get on to that in the last question about what we can therefore do to better that situation. But I suppose that also covers the question of, why is my child restless? So if they're restless, again, this toxic.
Yeah, it's all the same. So and some parents say, yes, my child just sleeping, but how he's sleeping? Just observe if he's keep moving around or changing the head around the bed, or sleep under the bed. So again, this is just not normal. The child wouldn't be very refreshed at the morning, so he wouldn't be full of energy or good energy. So they still can be very hyperactive, but this is not the energy they will use for focusing and concentrating and learning and developing their cognitive functions well. So night is very important time for growing, for detoxification, for fixing any problem in the body, for boosting the adaptation mechanism for stress and etc. So yeah.
Excellent. So so again, would this be a point where you would suggest to have a diary and to start taking notes about your child's sleeping patterns and what they're doing, like you would do with the meltdowns, etc.?
Yeah, I think to keep a diary for parents of children with any issues, it's a fundamental, because then again you can see the pattern, what's been going on. Sometimes children, especially restless during the full night, and again, if child got worms or parasites, that might explain, because this kind of microorganism can be more active during the full moon period. So that already will tell a lot about the microbiome of the child and potential maybe support and treatment for a child. So all these little signs and symptoms could be very helpful when you bring that information to professional to discuss with. And it would help to design the better support protocol for sure. Yeah.
Excellent. Okay, and then the sweating, a child who's sweats profusely during the night. Why is that happening?
This is also part of the detoxification. So with the sweating, it's a good detoxification process. So if the traditional detox pathways somehow not coping with the amount of toxins, or they partially blocked, so I mean a digestive system and the liver detoxification pathways maybe not working well, so sweating is another way to detox through the skin. Skin is a very big organ, detoxification organ. So, and that's why the sweating taking place. So if your child is sweating a lot, it means we need to address his toxicity level.
Okay. And so, I mean, how would you do that? How would you,
well, first of all, I think there is a evening routine. I would suggest to look and establish. So the children with autism really like to have a certain routines. And in the evening, we definitely can put some measures to prepare a child for better sleep. Very simple, like a Epsom salt bath and a little maybe a calming massage with using essential lavender oil, things like that. So it's really helping to prepare a child to relax. And again, just look the ambience in his room. So it should be clean, it should be fresh air, it should be nothing, no extra smells, no extra noise, nice quiet environment according sensitivity of your child. So all these just preliminary settings would really help. So
Would
if
you suggest to turn off Wi-Fi at night time in the house?
yes, that would be great. Of course, we can't completely exclude it because, when you look at your phone, we're picking up so much noise from neighborhood, but still it's better because your own Wi-Fi is the strongest in your place. Yeah, so that would be definitely a good thing to do. Definitely watch the blue light, any sort of possible vibrations, noises, even like what kind of pajama a child is dressed on. Maybe it's not a real cotton, maybe something irritates from fabric, some kind of little stitching or labels maybe irritates to their skin. So all these little things really need to be looked at. What kind of cuddly toy your child likes? Maybe he likes the fluffy things, but if it's really sort of synthetic and smells not nice, so it can be very controversial to different senses. And also definitely if child doesn't sleep, if he has a nightmare, if he's tossing around, if he is sweating, I will definitely address the toxicity level. Gentle detox during the day would be very good idea, and maybe perform some clinical tests like a heavy metal test just to see if the child full of toxins, and then the gentle protocol, personalized protocol can be suggested.
Okay. And those sorts of tests, where would you get those tests? I mean, do you go to your GP or would you go to a specialist like yourself?
Well, if it's a functional medical doctor, so they can order that type of test. They are very open and they've got access for booking such tests. So normal GP, normally they don't have this type of test in their portfolio, unfortunately. Functional nutritional professionals would have that. So yes, like myself, we normally work with the best labs in the world. You can book the test online, so they deliver kit to your doorstep with DHL. You collect the samples and send it away. You don't need to go to any lab, so it's very easy to do, but it provides with lots of information and very personalized information. Then we can really see exactly what is bothering your child. And another test may be done as a stool test, because again, lots of toxins come from gut imbalance. If there is, like I mentioned, worms, parasites, yeast like candida, or just bad bacteria overgrowth, that will all contribute to lots of toxins. Just think about it. Candida itself can produce about 170 toxins. Wow. Just candida. And our children very often, especially if they're craving for sugar, they very often might have a candida overgrowth in their system. So just all these little things, step by step attitude will definitely bring lots of relief, and your child start to sleep much better and let you sleep much better.
Sounds like an absolute dream.
But it's doable and it's possible, and we do it all the time. So don't hesitate to explore, starting with the gentle things, which you can do it already tonight with your child, just observing, monitoring, changing some things and see. But also look at another level, how you can work with the professionals to explore a little bit further.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So it's essentially right. Because also when you don't have enough sleep, it's very difficult to get the motivation and inspiration to find a way to solve these issues. So just breaking it down into small steps and giving yourself a strategy and taking notes and really observing, tuning into your child, and then taking the next appropriate steps.
Yes, it's all start with the parents, it all start with home, but just tune yourself and don't hesitate to follow your, maternal instincts, because that's very important. That's the first thing you're supposed to listen. Is that good for my child or not? How I feel about it? What can disturb it? That's the first rule you have to implement all the time, because again, the kids, they're sensitive and you can understand them better than anybody else.
It goes back to the saying, be confident in what you do. You know best.
Absolutely. It's your child. You know your child much better than anybody else, but you always learn from others. You learn from other parents, from others' experience, from different professionals, and then bring it to your tool, if you want, the parental tool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Fantastic. Irina, thank you so much. Very insightful, and hopefully it will give some people at home some tips that they can start working on now at home.
Absolutely. Thank you. All the best, and have a good sleep night. I wish you all rest during the night and be refreshed and energized in the morning. Then we can do lots of good things for ourselves and for our children. Goodbye for now.
And if you'd like to find out more, please don't forget to join us in our masterclass. The first one is coming up this Sunday on the 25th. Then we have a repeat session on the 28th, and you can find out all about it in the link in the bio. Thank you, and have a great day, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.